Hi, my name's Sean, and today I'm going to be teaching you about a few key steps you should keep in mind when building out a really strong and efficient product roadmap. The first tip I'd give to any product manager when building out a product roadmap is make sure you delegate clear lead and supporting responsibilities. This is really critical because you want to make sure that although you may have a lot of tasks at hand, a lot of needs, different skill sets on the team, that people are very clear about who's leading what aspect. You also should have this made very prevalent on the actual product roadmap so people can see who's leading what. So if they need certain help or want advice on a certain section, they can go to that person. Additionally, it creates a sense of responsibility among teammates because you're aware of who is leading what role. It's also critical that you have supporting people on each team so that it's not only left to one person so that they have resources that they can go to when they're encountering certain speed bumps or certain issues in achieving their task for that week. So always make sure that people are clear on what they need to do, who is going to be leading it, and who the supporting people are in ensuring that task gets completed. The next aspect to consider when building out a product roadmap is making sure you establish a feasible and realistic deadline. You want to make sure that first it's achievable. So everyone on your team should be able to get the task done in the amount of time you set. You also want to make sure that it's not too cushioned, whereas people get overly relaxed, but also not too quick, whereas it may cause a lot of stress for the team, which then can have a lot of negative externalities on your entire project. You also should take into consideration that there shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all model when establishing a deadline. You should look at the task at hand and see how much realistic time does this actually require in order to get done, whereas everyone can be comfortable and happy with completing it within that time frame. And finally, everyone should be in agreement with the deadline you set. Ensuring this is the case will make sure that down the line, if certain employees do miss a deadline, that they will be held accountable, and we'll have to ensure that this doesn't happen in the future. The next aspect to consider is always establishing a clear goal for the task at hand. Even if you're just fixing a bug or building out a go-to-market strategy, you want to be clear on what the immediate goal of the task is, but you also want to ensure that everything you're doing feeds into your high-level objective of what you're trying to achieve with the product. So no matter what the task, your goal is clear from the small level to the high level so that everyone working on it can know that what they're doing is going to help develop the final product at the end of the day. It's always important to make sure everyone is in agreement upon what metrics you are going to use to evaluate each task at hand. For example, if you're creating a new component of an app and one person thinks the metric you're going to be evaluating is active user engagement, whereas another person thinks we're going to be measuring user feedback on that app, then you're clearly going to get different results, and it may be a success or a win or a failure depending on how you see the metrics you're going to use. Therefore, it's critical at the beginning of the start of the project or the task at hand that you are clear about what metrics you will be using to evaluate so that everyone can be in agreement on what a success will be for that task. The next tip I'll leave you with is the importance of prioritization. Prioritization is key for the success of any product manager, especially when building out a product roadmap. When you're developing new products, you often have to be really agile and aware that things are going to shift and potentially not go the way you want them to. That there may be different interests or team member faults or just things not working, building out certain programs or software. Because of this, you always have to be aware of what the priority is and what the need is for the moment to achieve your high-level goal. So this may require you to speak to a teammate who may be working on a passion project that may be a critical component of a certain fun aspect of the app, but it may not be the need for what your 2-month goal is. Therefore, you're going to have to speak to them and say, hey, we actually need you to work on this immediate task because without the completion of this component, we won't be able to reach our end goals. Therefore, prioritization is always key for a product manager because you are the one who's always seeing what the need is down the line as well as the here and now. People may get caught up in their work, their side projects, but it's up to you to make sure that the product roadmap is being efficient and that it's going as planned, and that if it doesn't, that you can reprioritize and make sure everyone is aligned to what the needs are for your eventual product goals.